Hello everyone, I chose the American Indian movement as my topic, and this is one of the symbols of the American Indian movement. Many Native Americans only know what life off the reservation is like from books and television. When they leave the reservation, they are faced with many challenges. To those who leave the reservation, it feels as if they are arriving in a foreign country. They're not used to the noise of the streets, the traffic, and the people. There are Indian centers that provide assistance to those who have immigrated from the reservation. They assist the community with temporary housing, seeking employment, and finding schools. They also assist them with job skills and ESL, English as a second language. The Indian centers also provide counseling to help them adjust to the city living, the different cultures, and the languages. The American Indian movement has transformed programs and organizations. The policies were made by spiritual leaders and elders. The American Indian movement was able to articulate the claims of the native nations. It was founded to turn attention of the Indian people toward a renewal of spirituality to give them strength to resolve policies in the United States, Canada, and other colonist governments. And this is another image of the American Indian movement. The American Indian movement has had many successful lawsuits against the federal government for the protection of rights of the native nations that were agreed on in treaties. The American Indian movement began in 1962, and it was founded by Clyde Belcourt, Eddie Benton, George Mitchell, and Dennis Banks. At the beginning, it was known as the Concerned Indian Americans, but soon the name changed to American Indian Movement. And their focus was to help the community with employment, housing, and education. Clyde Belcourt organized street patrolling to protect Indians from the abuse of officers. Since he was very involved in the community and wanted them to learn about their rights, he himself was a victim of police abuse and brutality. He was beaten on various occasions because they did not approve of how he was helping his community. In 1977, the American Indian Movement began the School of Survival concept, and it was to teach the young Indians to adjust to society without forgetting about their culture. They wanted for the younger generation to know the truth about the Indian people and to learn about their leaders and what they had contributed to. The American Indian movement was involved in tribal affairs. At the beginning of the association, there were many people that did not want to belong to the group because of confrontations. When the American Indian movement was first created, their main focus was the conservation of land. In 1849, the removal of the Bureau of Indian Affairs caused for tribes to be removed from reservation, and this brought on disease and starvation. In the 1960s, the BIA services were discontinued, and the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare took over. In 1830, President Andrew Jackson signed the Indian Removal Act. He relocated all the tribes to the west of the Mississippi River. The land where the tribes were became property of the states and passed on to non-Indian people. In 1972, an Oglala from Pine Ridge named Raymond Yellow Thunder was beaten for fun. The trial against the men who beat him was dismissed. The American Indian movement went to Pine Ridge with many supporters to file charges against those men. The massacre at Wounded Knee was a huge injustice. The American Indian movement endorsed a nationwide boycott of Safeway stores by Cesar Chavez, United Farm Workers Union, and made an alliance with Mexican American activists. Native American people have been mistreated, misunderstood, and subjected to prejudice and cruelty.